Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 Spoilers channel. After Audra's medical trauma, is Kyle being suspected? According to Spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott might be put on the hot seat following Audra, Charles's medical issue. Will Kyle now be held accountable for his involvement with the attractive minx? We are left wondering who is engaged in the medical crisis scenario that YNR Spoilers suggest is imminent. However, it is easy to believe that Miss Audra might be the victim, given that she is currently the target of hatred from half the community. Is Audra the one hurt? Many people have an interest in getting rid of the troublemaker in fashion. If Audra is targeted, IF and I are speculating that she will live to tell the story and use up one of her 9 lives. Who is listed as a suspect? First up is Claire Newman. She would definitely be on Audra's suspect list because she has publicly threatened her opponent. Next up is Kyle, who has a history and a current relationship with Audra. In the September 23rd episode, these two got into a fight, and it might come back to haunt him. Are you in the weeds? Foreshadowing, huh? Kyle informed Audra during their argument that no one wanted or needed her, and that nobody would care if something happened to her. A car accident or poisoning would satisfy Kyle's intense desire for Audra to cease interfering in his relationship with Claire. Additionally, Kyle will appear extremely responsible if Claire departs him just before Audra's possible ordeal. Is Kyle at fault? Kyle would be suspected right away if something bad happened to Audra because of their hostility. On the other hand, we don't rule out Audra framing Kyle for anything. Just 4. After all, what else is she currently dealing with? On The Young and the Restless, what will happen next? Kyle might end up in the weeds in GC, regardless of what happens next. Stay tuned as we will provide you with all the details about this possible scenario. According to Spoilers, Audra and Kyle are in for some unexpected turns. Make sure to keep up with all of the current events on The Young and the Restless. For the most recent YNR news, spoilers, and updates, return frequently. Sit back and enjoy the greatest soap opera information available online. Lily's startling finding. Kane and Phyllis revealed. Updates and teasers for The Young and the Restless hint that Lily Winters may see Kane Ashby and Phyllis Summers' close bond. The YNR fall preview spoilers highlight Phyllis's fascination with Kane's Aristotle Dumas persona and undoubtedly allude to this as a triangle as this love triangle reaches its breaking point. Aristotle Dumas unquestionably contributes to Kane. It's obvious that Kane still harbors feelings for that earlier iteration of himself, and Phyllis is always there to support him. According to Phyllis, Kane should put his aspirations for domination in Genoa City ahead of his ambitions of rekindling his relationship with Lily. Given how often she compliments Kane, it is obvious that Phyllis may also have her own interests in him. It's clear that Kane and Phyllis might eventually combine business and pleasure because their light-hearted interactions could be taken as mutual flirtation. They recently met Tracy Abbott while at Society, where Kane had asked Phyllis to supper. Kane desired a romantic situation with Tracy, all at once. They interacted in a way that warmly reflected Kane's desire to turn his friendship with Tracy into a sexual connection. Phyllis was obviously troubled by their relationship and seemed a little jealous of Kane's devotion to Tracy. This merely serves to support the notion that Phyllis wants Kane to focus entirely on her and not on any other woman. It's possible that Phyllis secretly wishes to become the ultimate power couple with Kane. Maybe Phyllis thinks she can become the new queen of Kane's heart and make him forget about Lily, Tracy, and everyone else once they have all of their goals fulfilled. Phyllis will keep moving toward the Dumas inside the Kane. Phyllis will continue to entice Kane's Dumas side no matter what, and she might even seduce him in the end. If Lily witnesses Kane and Phyllis having a romantic encounter, this may be disaster. Lily would be severely hurt even if she saw them kiss, and finding out about a more private interaction would surely make things worse. Is Phyllis going to make another roadblock for Kane and Lily? She has a knack for making them. We'll keep you updated on any unfavorable developments that Phyllis may bring to Kane's attempts to reunite with Lily. as Y&R spoilers suggest that she will continue to stir things up. Check in to see what's going on with Y&R at the moment. For news, updates, and spoilers about the young and the restless, return here frequently. A closer look at Kyle's suspicion following Audra's medical trauma. Webs of secrets, betrayals, and catastrophes that rock Genoa City to its foundation have long been the foundation of the young and the restless, Y&R. The entire situation becomes the tone of a thriller with the emotional undertones of a soap opera, as the spoilers imply that Kyle Abbott might be under investigation following Audra Charles's unexpected medical emergency. This is about the complex web of rivalries, affairs, power struggles, and personal grudges that drive the show's plot, not just about one lady failing or one man's guilt. Breaking down the layers of relationships, motivations, and foreshadowing that have been woven into the script thus far is crucial to understanding how Kyle and Audra's tale might develop. The provocateur at the heart of the storm, Audra Charles. Audra has swiftly emerged as one of Genoa City's most divisive personalities. Chic, cunning, and unreservedly ambitious, she enjoys pushing limits and putting herself in awkward situations. Audra's presence has caused disruptions in a number of households, ranging from love entanglements to corporate sabotage. It's the harsh reality that half the town finds her offensive. It's not just a colorful exaggeration. In order to make sure that almost everyone is a suspect when she eventually experiences a setback, whether from intentional sabotage or physical trauma, the authors have purposefully constructed her as a lightning point for animosity. This brings up the first significant question. Was Audra's medical crisis the result of someone's long-simmering retaliation, or was she a victim of circumstance? Very few things that happen in Genoa City are accidental. The former golden boy with tarnished armor is Kyle Abbott. After attempting to strike a balance between responsibility and passion, Kyle Abbott, once the proud heir to the Abbott legacy, now finds himself in a more ambiguous situation. His engagement with Claire Newman has increased his emotional susceptibility, and his previous relationship with Audra continues to drag him into unwelcome turmoil. His altercation with Audra in the September 23rd episode appeared like a purposeful ruse by the writers to hint at something more sinister than a simple argument. You are not desired. You are not needed by anyone. If something were to happen to you, nobody would even give a damn. That is more than simply an insult. It's essentially a neon sign from a screenwriter telling the audience to pay attention to this line because it's important. Regardless of whether he did anything, Kyle is immediately the top suspect if Audra has a medical emergency shortly after saying those remarks. Kyle's timing couldn't be worse, as soap operas rely heavily on emotional manipulation and circumstantial proof. The wild card rival is Claire Newman. Without a competitor, no soap opera plot can succeed, and Claire is in a prime position. She is another obvious suspect because of her propensity of making snap decisions, her open animosity for Audra, and her intense commitment to Kyle. Since Claire has threatened Audra in public rather than behind closed doors, the community will instantly remember those abrasive interactions if Audra passes away. Did Claire set up a vehicle accident, put something in Audra's drink, or just wish too loudly for her competitor to fail? However, Claire's possible guilt might be a red herring in typical Y&R manner. The authors frequently mislead the audience by pointing the finger at a clear suspect. However, because of her involvement with Kyle, she will be drawn into the inquiry regardless of her culpability if Kyle is found to be involved. Could Audra be framing Kyle with her own schemes? Manipulation is nothing new to Audra. If she has taught us anything, it is that she is aware of the influence that perception has. It's not impossible that Audra would fabricate or exaggerate her medical problem in a society where being perceived as the victim can have equal power as being the winner. It might be possible to portray Kyle or Claire as her tormentor by using poisoning, fainting spells, or mysterious accidents. Why would she act in this way? Because Audra's brand is survival. She will win by being feared or pitted if she can't win by being loved because she thrives in chaos. She could undermine Kyle's reputation, sever his bond with Claire, and reestablish herself as the center of attention by framing him. jeopardizing the Abbott legacy. The Abbott name is also on trial whenever Kyle is suspected. For decades, Jack Abbott has worked to protect the family's name from scandal after scandal, corporate betrayals, and Newman assaults. Kyle's personal life collapses if he is found to have harmed Audra, and Jabot may also be in danger. Opponents such as Victor Newman would take advantage of the situation to paint the Abbotts as morally reprehensible, weak, or preoccupied. Jack and Diane would have to go on the defensive, supporting Kyle while wondering if his decisions with Audra were careless enough to cause the family to become embroiled in scandal. This would be a devastating blow for Diane, who has worked hard to restore her reputation because she is all too aware of how quickly Genoa City abandons someone who has been deemed dangerous. The medical mysteries, attack or accident, is Audra's medical trauma real or artificial? This is the central question of the story. Here, soap operas embrace ambiguity. Was it societal food poisoning? Did she use drugs at a party? Did her car's brakes get tampered with? Or is this a collapse brought on by stress that conveniently casts blame on everyone else? More characters may be implicated if the cause is unclear. Every casual comment, every glass of champagne, and every contentious dispute could be used as proof. Even though Kyle never touched her, the timing of his outburst gives the impression that he wished this into being. Lily, Kane, and Phyllis make up the parallel triangle. The teasers for Kyle and Audra's plot allude to another combustible triangle. Lily Winters learning of Kane Ashby's relationship with Phyllis Summers. There are intriguing parallels between this subplot and the Kyle-Audra-Claire storyline. Betrayal, envy, and the potential for someone to be caught in a precarious situation are all present in both triangles. Like Audra, Phyllis enjoys causing trouble. Her support of Kane's darker, Aristotle Dumas side implies that she is more concerned with exposing the aspects of him that can be used for selfish ends than with finding love. Phyllis manipulates Kane in the same way that Audra manipulates Kyle. For their spouses, these women appear to be symbols of danger, temptation, and self-destruction. According to the thematic connection between these two stories, Y&R is preparing for a season of toxic temptresses who try the men of Genoa City's fortitude and their lovers' loyalty. Lily's startling finding. If Lily thinks Kyle deceived her with Audra, her anguish could resemble Claire's when she sees the flames between Kane and Phyllis. The authors adore symmetry. One woman observing her partner's attraction to another, while another woman falters or suffers, casting doubt on her adversary. Because of her loss, Lily may be more understanding of Claire's difficulties, which would emotionally connect the two plotlines. Lily's rage might blow up if she really sees Kane and Phyllis cuddling, or worse, in bed. Just as Claire might form alliances with people who have been harmed by Audra, she might use her rage to form alliances with others who have been harmed by Phyllis. Temporary relationships born of animosity amongst people are the lifeblood of Genoa City, the chessboard of the soap opera. In the end, the issue of Kyle's guilt is more about how suspicion changes the board than it is about whether he hurt Audra. Their romance would suffer if Kyle is probed, because Claire will either support him or have doubts about him. Audra will take use of the situation to get as much sympathy and power as possible if she lives, which is highly likely. In the meantime, Lily's revelation regarding Kane and Phyllis causes repercussions that undermine not only her personal life, but also her relationships with her family and company. Although Phyllis views Kane as a possible ally in her quest for ambition, her schemes could backfire if Lily chooses to make her manipulations public. The soap opera rule, that no action occurs in isolation, is reinforced by both plotlines. Every crisis escalates until half the community feels either guilty, devastated, or planning retaliation. It's like a domino tipping into someone else's life. What takes place next? Kyle and Audra are promised twists and turns in the teasers, and it's simple to speculate about what might happen. Is Kyle in custody? Kyle might have to defend himself while his adversaries circle, even if he is innocent, because he could be detained or at the very least publicly implicated. Claire's dilemma. Is her trust tainted by her jealousy of Audra, or does she back him without reservation? Audra's leverage. Should she live, she may use her near-death experience to pressure Kyle into making a romantic or business concession. Phyllis's repercussions. In the meantime, Phyllis's quest for Kane has the potential to undo any shaky progress she has made toward atonement, re-establishing her as Genoa City's most cunning con artist. The anatomy of suspicion in conclusion. The lifeblood of Y&R is suspicion. The authors make sure the Abbott heritage is upended, Claire's put to the test, and Audra's elevated as either a victim or a genius by making Kyle the focal point of Audra's issue. A parallel framework where treachery, temptation, and suspicion reverberate across families is created by layering this with the love triangle between Lily, Kane, and Phyllis. The soap opera excels in stretching, twisting, and making sure that each response raises new issues rather than resolving current conflicts. Was Audra harmed by Kyle? Most likely not. In any case, will he bear the consequences? Most likely. Suffering is only another way to remake oneself in Genoa City.